So if this is
Different.
okay, so we've got a pattern here, which is that Russia doesn't seem to be in a place of stability before there's a overthrowing of power or a hostile takeover. Do you think that such a thing could happen with Putin? Either he's pushed from power by the
Oh,
elites.
he's going to die. So yes, it's definitely going to happen. Whether it's he dies in his bed of a stroke. I mean, man, he's under pressure. You think of who'd be a good candidate for like a massive heart attack, given just the enormous pressure he's under. Or maybe he's just a sociopath that is immune to all sorts of pressure. I have no idea. I'm not a psychiatrist, let alone a medical doctor. But the man's going to die, and there's going to be a free-for-all when he does. That's a guarantee. Therefore, Europeans would be wise to have a full-up plan of what to do on that day and what to do on the next 5 or 10 years before power re-solidifies.
But what about Russia itself? Does it fragment into different
I have
parts?
no idea. Oh, well,
have
or
thoughts.
whether China moves on in. And then
where?
at what level? Is it just buying off the leader? Unknown.
Well, I realistically, I think the Chinese would take Outer Manchuria, but I don't think they're necessarily interested in the whole annexing of the Far East or something.
Who knows? You and I don't know. Be cautious about speculation about other people.
Well, I don't think it's speculation. I think it's based on probabilities. I'm a statistician.
That's also speculation. But anyway, it's an
Some are
educated
more-
guess.
Well, certainly there's speculation, there's conjecture, but then there's also based on what is more conceivable than others. I don't think Russia's going to break apart.
Okay, into conceivable. 10 years ago, would you have thought where we are now in the world was remotely conceivable?
Well, I think that's a
Be
slightly
honest.
different question. I think comparing the entire world and the international system is different.
Okay,
to creating another
the
country.
U.S. European relationship.
No, of course not.
There we go. So it's hard to know.
But then why bother talking about it at all? If we
because it's understanding what's speculation and what's not. And I mean, I've given you speculation about the U.S. tax code. I don't know that I'm right about that, but I toss it around as food for thought.
Okay. Isn't that what we're doing right now? Isn't that why I'm asking you?
I guess I don't know the answer on what Putin, what Xi Jinping and friends plan to do. I think anyway.
No,
touche.
That's my point. Like, you're talking about the Europeans needing to have a better plan, but if they can't plan based on some degree of speculation, then what's the point?
You're right. Plans contain assumptions, so you state your assumptions, what they are, and away you go.
We've been having a hell of a load of hypotheses, right? During our conversation.
You're talking about the future. How does one know?
So, okay, let's talk more about the past. How much do you think the past of Russian relations with China can define the future of them?
I've done an entire podcast on Russia and Chinese relations that sum up what little I know on the subject. And for many years, Russia was strong and in the driver's seat, and now China's strong and Russia's in the receiving end of that relationship. And the reversal is a combination of Russia's implosion and China's rise, right? And it will. It's not a good position for Russia to be in, and then it's isolating itself completely from the West, then throws it right at China's mercy. And I don't think China has ever been merciful.
But why would China care more specifically? They're
care about what?
Pragmatist.
About holding all the cards vis-a-vis Russia? Of course you like holding cards vis-a-vis Russia.
But they're not. They're indifferent to who leads the country. And look at Iran right now. They don't care whether the regime topples as long as they get what they want. As long as they
well, we're talking about whether they're going to get what they want from Russia, and I'm suggesting they probably will.
Yes, of course. But how much does that depend on what state Russia is in? How much does that depend on the personal
the weaker Russia is, the better from Chinese. I mean, in terms of what leverage you have over them. But understand that getting what you want, and it has two parts to that equation. One is the competence of your own strategy. So that lies within your own department. And it also depends on the incompetence of the other side, and something you do not control. And be aware, if the other side's very competent, you're going to have troubles.
But to be devil's advocate on that, the Chinese aren't free of their own challenges.
No,
I'm
they
not one
aren't.
of these
North Russia.
people who-
They're just, I gave you the math on their relative GNPs, GDPs. China's just got a much bigger piggy bank to go spend money to do things than Russia does.
No, for sure. Look, Russia's longevity in its current form is a ticking time bomb. It's a matter of time. But this
Who
is why I
knows?
think it's important to
Who
consider.
knows? Think of North Korea. It amazes me how long that dystopian mess, the Kim dynasty, can remain in power. It just seems to be endless.
So at what point does strategic dependence for Russia turn into strategic vulnerability?
I think the strategic dependence is a strategic vulnerability.
So you don't think there comes a point where we're already past the point of too far for Russia? There's no